Most intros are in fact trash, so let's just get straight into the video. Avengers Endgame is the last movie released by Disney in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because they know they won't be able to compete with Universal's Dark Universe. We follow our heroes, Iron Boy Sr., the only female character for the first 6 years, Fat God, Hulk Dab, and Steve Rogers. This movie is directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, who are two people who will fade into obscurity once their Marvel contract runs out. Considering this movie is impossible to talk about without spoilers, this will be an entirely spoiler-filled review. Fucking get out, you piece of shit hermits, before I ruin this movie for you. Iron Man is dead. Avengers Endgame is without a doubt my favorite theater experience I've ever had. Listening to grown men nut while Captain America lifts a hammer is my fucking fetish. I sat there and whooped and wailed like a toddler, and I only feel small amounts of shame. But each time I've seen Endgame, which is 3 times, I like it less and less. So is Endgame a good movie? I think so. That's like asking me whether or not Keanu Reeves is a good actor. I mean, I know what I'm watching isn't good, but something deep down inside me likes what I'm seeing. I think that's the thing about Endgame. It's more of an event rather than an actual movie, because holy fuck, if this wasn't connected to the MCU, I'd shit on the movie so hard. Let's stop dancing around the question at least 2 people have on their minds. What did I like and not like about Endgame?
What master do you serve?
Let's imagine you're Kevin Feige and you get sent 3 scripts for Endgame. One of these scripts is a poignant drama dealing with how these heroes handle life after Thanos and how they are powerless to revert his snap. The next script is a goofy and funny fan service filled time travel heist that sees the heroes stopping Thanos with bullshit time rules that the movie sets up as the rules but then proceeds to throw those rules away. The final script is an epic similar to the Battle of the 5 Armies that sees our great heroes battle against the forces of darkness. Now audience, let's play a game. Do you A, select one of the scripts, B, ask for a different kind of movie, C, have sex with your wife's tennis coach, or D, combine all 3 scripts into one 3-hour monstrosity? If you selected D, congratulations, you just made Avengers Endgame and now I hate you. I've seen Infinity War 5 times and I've given it a consistent 8 out of 10 every time I watch it because it's one nice and tight film. I wish they had just went with one of these ideas and stuck with it, and I wouldn't have even minded a 2-hour battle because at least it would have been one cohesive film. This leads to major tone shifts throughout Endgame because they're dealing with 3 different movies here. The first part is sad, the second part is funny, the third part is epic. Please see the Sonic movie in theaters next year. It will be epic just like the third act of Endgame. There are obviously moments of levity and drama in the other parts, but it just feels like a puzzle that Edward Scissorhands tried to put together. I think my second problem is the handling of Thor, Hulk, and Black Widow. Let's start with Black Widow because it only has a teeny weeny issue I gotta discuss. It really chafes my thighs when ScarJo, an original member of the team, gets one of the laziest deaths in the MCU. I don't want to see this Infinity War mirror bullshit. Have her die while trying to beat Thanos by whipping him with her hair. I don't fucking care, just something else please. Professor Hulk was pretty funny, but altogether him being an OG didn't get anything substantial in terms of character work in either Infinity War or Endgame.
But critic, he throws table on the lake cause he is sad and he made Gauntlet snap.
Well, you fucking got me, didn't you? Don't you little nitpickers have some Disney movies to analyze in the hopes you can make a 2-hour long video essay on why Lilo and Stitch doesn't make sense logically? Those are nice little moments, but they're just that, moments. Let's talk about Infinity War for a second. I love that every single character, if they don't have something bigger to chew on like Quill, Stark, or Thor, they at least get something that isn't just punch and kick time. Groot gets a little part where he gives his arm to Thor for the handle of his axe, and Drax has a little something about how he will finally enact his revenge on Thanos while on nowhere. The problem is when it's the last Avengers movie and you've got an OG member consisting on little snacks of substance. The Hulk is a big guy, he needs something a little more meaty. The same thing can be said with Thor, so I won't rehash what I said, but I will say that holy shit, Fat Thor is kind of unfunny. I was okay with him at first, and then I realized how stupid it was on my second rewatch. These Russo fucks couldn't even be bothered to actually make him look fat because they had to sell toys of Thor, so his face couldn't be puffy. I generally hate fan service, but I was actually okay with how Endgame handled it until I saw the movie again recently. Then I realized that a lot of the cute little very cool moments, like where Steve says I can do this all day, actually sucks the fattest anal cavity. None of the moments of fan service have really any impact on the story or characters overall. It's just there so 40-year-old incels will stay hard throughout the film. From a technical perspective, this once again is another safe cookie-cutter Russo movie. The Russos appear to be really good at directing intimate moments within a huge CGI blockbuster, but they very often fail to make their movies pop visually or even sound-wise. I imagine someone will write 3 paragraphs in the comments about how getting a movie that's predominantly muted in terms of color and is just simple shot reverse shot is actually genius and creatively groundbreaking. There is one good shot, and that's Captain America standing against the entire army of Thanos. It's powerful and lovely, but everything else, holy fuck, it might be as bad to look at as Age of Ultron. It's really sad, especially comparing how diverse the colors were for Infinity War. Also, fuck the score. You can't keep remixing the Avengers theme and all the character themes and calling it good. These Russos pulling some Lil Nas X bullshit. I know it's not just the Avengers theme and character themes remix, but listening to this score again while writing this review, it just all sounds so generic.
Upon this rock, I will build my church.
Tony Stark doesn't really have an arc in this movie, but rather a series of bookends on overarching through lines in the MCU. Those being his relationship with Pepper, his relationship with his dad, and the idea of sacrifice. I really like how they handled the first 2 through lines, even though they were relatively the smallest parts of his Endgame journey. The whole idea of sacrifice is something that seems so redundant to me because he's literally proven that he'll do what he has to do for the greater good multiple times. The most recent example of this being Infinity War, when he acknowledged that going to Titan was a one-way trip. If I wanted to watch characters repeat the same arcs they've gone through beforehand, I'd just watch Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ultimately, I do like watching Stark's character stuff in Endgame. You know, I think Captain America is the only thing keeping me from disliking Endgame. His story isn't just beautiful, it's also completely natural and unique. This is nowhere near a rehash. If Josh Brolin was the standout of Infinity War, then Chris Evans is the standout of Endgame. He's far and away giving a much better performance than anyone else, and that's not to knock on RDJ, who's doing good, but man, Chris Evans nails it. I may be speaking with some level of bias because Cap is my favorite character in the MCU, but I feel like I'm being honest, because you already knew if they fucked up my boy in his last movie, I would piss and shit and cry and come in the theater. If there's one thing that almost every Marvel movie gets right, almost, is the interaction between characters. Almost every character communicates in a different way to one character than they would another. I know that's just how basic fucking conversation works, but when so many of these movies and characters share the same tone and traits, it's so easy for these characters to blend together. This isn't the case with Endgame because each interaction feels new but never out of place. My last piece of praise goes to the final battle in the 3rd act because boy, this was done so fucking well. I honestly would have been down with them retrieving the stones in like the first 45 minutes and then dealing with Thanos and his army for the next hour and then giving them a 30-minute wrap-up. It'd make the movie much tighter, but fuck me for not wanting to see Fat Thor drunkenly beat Korg for not securing the epic victory royale. There are so many good little moments of character interaction, team-ups, and of course fight choreography. My favorite moment in the fight is when Wanda confronts Thanos. Hot fucking take, Wanda is the best character out of the new Avengers. Elizabeth Olsen is such an underrated actress and I want her to be my wife, please and thanks.
You're not the guy to make the sacrifice play.
Overall, Endgame is a great theater experience, but not a great movie in the same way that I enjoyed Dunkirk. It's got a lot of great individual parts, but doesn't work as one cohesive unit. I give Avengers Endgame a 6 out of 10. I recommend this movie to no one because literally every fucking person on this planet has seen Avengers Endgame and I refuse to believe otherwise. Thank you for watching. I have some social media on the screen. Subscribe, hit the bell, and farewell.